Today we're going to talk about grapevines. Now, this is an old family grapevine, and it's the sole survivor, so to speak. And that when we sold my mom's house, I broke off a bunch of pieces of the grapevine, and this is the only one that actually took root. So I had many of them, and had actually set this pot outside because I thought they'd all died, and kind of had given up, and sure enough there was a bud on it, so I brought it inside, and it's January now and it's growing, so I think it may make it to where we can set it outside in the spring. But the story behind this is that I had got one similar to this going from when my grandfather had them at his house, the one that I grew up with, that house along the river in Lexington, and they had them all around. He's the kind of guy that he would break stuff off and stick it in the ground and it would grow. So anyway, I did the same thing and got it growing at my mother's house, and that was probably back in 77, 78, somewhere around there. But it had gotten shaded and kind of really was on its way out anyway. So here I am with this one, but I believe, and I don't have absolute facts, but that he had brought the grapevine to that house from his farm, which was, he had built that house in about 1920, and prior to that, it was, I believe it was at my great-grandparents' just down the road at their farm. So if all this is true, which you don't know, but the way he was, he wouldn't have bought one. He would have broke it off and started his own. So that dates back to probably about 1908 when they moved there. And so they had it all around the porch, and we got pictures of that. And so he had it all around his porch at that farm, and then he had it around his porch where I got it from. But we just had one growing at my mother's, and it had grapes on it. And near as I can tell, they're what would look like Niagara grapes. They call them white grapes, but really they're green if you look at them. They're not Concord, but they're similar to Concord. They're slipskin. So my big goal is to see if I can get this going and maybe get some grapes off of it someday. But it's just kind of an interesting thing that the same plant has survived so long, because it didn't grow from seed. It's been broken off and rooted all these different times. But just kind of a neat story for in the winter. It's kind of cold out, but the grapevine's happy. And we'll see what happens here in the next few months.